It looked like it.
G'day, listeners. Welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name is Jordan Spencer, and it's that time of week again where we talk sailing. It's a great time for me because I get to hang out with some really cool people and my two idiot mates. So please first welcome to the microphone, Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
Oh. Let's talk about the word idiots for a second.
Oh, okay. What do you got, bud?
Well, I think we're becoming trendsetters. Barkarati. Driving to work, listening to Moon Man. Now that's a for our international guests. Moon Man is a very famous guy on Triple M, which our radio station here, has started calling his friends idiots, my idiot mates. So there we go. We start that trendsetter. Now, driving home tonight, I'm actually a little bit upset.
Why are you upset?
I'm a little bit upset. I'm a little bit upset because there was a beer advert that came on. And they said that if you buy your carton of beer, you could win a stubby cooler. Both of our things in the same day. Oh, that's our stuff.
Oh, you're all right? You're a little emotional?
I'm emotional.
Okay.
Now we have to change our format.
No, we don't. They can just keep copping us. We'll bring in the other bloke and he can add some value.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Well, I was going to say I'm a little bit weathered after a week away with the family in the most one of the biggest downpours in about 20 years of where I went to. Ooh. But after seeing BP here on the virtual screen, he's the one who's pretty weathered by the looks of things. Blasted. But happy birthday, Jordan, for during the week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, thanks,
congratulations,
I did send you a note.
Yeah, thanks, BP. Yeah, got that. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
I sent you a merchandise pack. Should be receiving that soon.
Well, and I sent you a stubby cooler.
Excellent. I appreciate all that.
I'd also like to say happy daylight savings.
Welcome to living in the past, mate.
Hey, Bicey, you're away for a week with the family. Did the Defender break down somewhere?
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, I did rescue one Mazda and one Land Cruiser. So
good work.
But apart from that,
yeah, I was going to say, as you were picking on, it just happened to break down next to his camping spot 3 times. Just happened to break down next to the tent.
Good times. Bit of it's not just Australia, but worldwide. Bit of camping with the kids. Bit of boozing, cruising, snoozing, as they say. Yeah, good stuff.
Nice. Good on you. Bit of family man time. Good man.
Very cool,
lads. I have a proposal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going off script here.
Is this kind of like one of my proposals?
Just let me check my notes.
It's not there, BP. You're in for a shock.
What have we done?
Nothing.
Who have we upset?
Look, I just want to bring something up. There's been a lot of beer discussion. Our lager is going incredibly well, obviously sold out. We are deep into working out a proper commercial...
Deep in debt.
Yeah, we are deep into working out a proper distribution network. So we'll probably talk about that at a later date. But, where you can actually go to bottle shops and it'll be at all the yacht clubs. We may have to do an interim run because we sold out our whole production in a week and a half. Now, I want to thank everyone for the support that they've shown us. It's been awesome. Like, it really, truly has been awesome. But I do also want to acknowledge that if you do want to drink, I don't want to get that message out there. We're not all about getting pissed, bro. Just drink in moderation. I think I want to say that. And for the youngsters out there, if you don't ever feel forced to have a drink, not in our sport, right? If you don't want to drink, that's cool, 100%. You take your time. If you don't want to ever do it, that's fine. It doesn't make you any less. It won't cut you out as a sailor. It'll probably make you a better sailor. So I just want to mention that Barkarati exists to do the right thing. We're here to bring people in the sport. We want to create a sense of camaraderie. The beer thing was just banter that we turned into reality, and it's just gone gangbusters, and we appreciate the support from everyone. Of course, we haven't made any money out of this yet, but if we actually do this deal, we may end up making some money. Now, here's my proposal, BP. This is where you need to sit down. we each own a third of the company that is Bar Karate, right? Therefore, if we make any profits, it gets split between us 3 ways. We each get an equal share, 1/3. I want to drop a bomb on you and say, I think we should split the money, if we ever make any money, 4 ways. Right? BP's looking at me confused. Bice is just nodding his head because he knows how my brain works. The idea I have, BP and Bicey, is that if we split it 4 ways, then we can get a bit of money each, 25% each. And then whatever that other 25% we use to create a fund or a foundation to help people in sailing, whether it's help youngsters get into it, help something happen, create a regatta, do something, but put the money back into the sport. I reckon that's something. I think we should do that. The Bar Karate Foundation or the Bar Karate.
Know what I'm about to say.
Ball tightener?
He's a ball tightener, definitely.
BP, what do you think?
Mate.
I'm just throwing this on you without any notice.
Well, it's kind of like the whole show from day one. You've been throwing things on me like, we're going to do a beer. Oh, yeah, all right. Or we're going to do this. Yeah, all right. We're going to get a VX1. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll do that. Yeah. But look, I'm all over it. Just take it on.
Get it
done. Get it done. Where do I sign?
Don't worry, all the paperwork's been done, mate.
I'll get my people to talk to your people.
That's already been done.
Yeah.
Well, you've spoken to them, have you? Good. Yeah, right.
I just think we exist in a great community of people, and it's imperative that we actually, like, I want people to feel like, if they're going to buy a few beers off us and their yachties, that money's going to go back into yachting. That's what I reckon.
I was going to suggest something along those lines, but I felt a bit out of place, so I had to sort of wait until it was dropped on me.
Okay. Word of warning for those who are thinking, oh, that's an awesome idea, can't wait to see the money. Well, we're not very good at making money. We haven't made a cent yet, all right? So don't get too excited. But if we do, we will absolutely do that. So we're agreed. Show of hands?
Show of hands.
BP, Bicey, yep.
The ayes have it.
The ayes have it. All right, congratulations, lads.
Well done.
I feel
Karate Foundation.
Yep, I feel that is something pretty good. All right,
I was about to go into a spiel about our big weekend last weekend in Malang at the Malang Regatta Club on the Sharpies.
I saw that,
and how the Sailors Lager really went down. But after a little bit of a moderator, I won't go into all the details. Put it this way: we had a bloody good weekend, and I'm a few cases lighter than what I should have been, and big support from the Sharpie class.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I put a photo on our Facebook page of basically Bar Karate was taking up one shelf, or Sailors Lager was taking up one shelf. By 10 p.m, that was the only thing that was not there anymore.
Wow.
Everything else was still there.
Wow.
And one thing I did pick up, I was just going past the bar, and I heard Joe Mint, I'll have 3 Sailors, thanks. I had to take another look because there's plenty of Sailors around, but I think that's going to be the name of the beer.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll have Sailors.
I was going to say,
I'll have a couple of Sailors, thanks.
Her husband might be going, what are you saying that for? But yeah, that's wonderful. All right, so that's it. People just go to the bar and ordering 3-4 Sailors. That's what they say. I'll just have a Sailors, thanks.
Yeah.
Love it.
Shout out to all the Sharpie crew.
Yeah.
Hell of a weekend.
Hell of a weekend. What about, apparently you rang me during the middle of all this just to tell me what was going on, and somebody landed their helicopter. You got to tell.
Yeah, so picture this, gents, standing around. It was quite early on the Saturday, so we just got in from yachting. The mighty sideshow Bob just coming off a fresh win, by the way. Anyway, here in the foreground, a chopper coming, and it's a bit of an unusual sight and sound for Malang, Little Malang. And then all the locals have basically come out and looking at this chopper. It lands just behind the Malang Regatta Club, and I hear one voice just come out as the turbines, as it's all winding down. We're here for a Sailors Lager.
Yeah, I've seen the photo.
That's cool.
So Julian Newton and his mates came in, had a couple of beers, took a couple of rotors with them, jumped back in the chopper and went home before it got dark. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Just
Fantastic.
kids don't fly and drink and fly.
Don't drink and fly, okay?
Righto. Enough of us.
All right. Yep.
Enough of us, indeed. Hey, good call, BP. Good call. Awesome. Everything's going great, guns. We're kind of pumped about this one. This one's interesting. We want to get behind. We've talked a lot in the past about the old Team Magenta crew. We're big supporters of the Magenta project, being involved, helping out or trying to support them wherever we can, and we're great mates with
Did you know I was a mentor?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, mentor.
Oh, there you go. Drop that bombshell on you. No, I got one back on you.
BP. There you go. There you go. Anyway, so the Magenta Project crew, big into getting and promoting the sport for the female side of the equation, which is great. And so tonight's guests we heard about we've got Pamela Lee and Catherine Hunt joining us. Now, let's just bring them in and then I'll explain what's going on. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hey, guys.
Hey, all right. So,
actually, before we start, where are you located, just to give the listeners a bit of a sense of what's happening here?
Yeah, I was going to say greetings from Ireland. We're in Greystones in Ireland, which is like a small seaside town in County Wicklow, which is just south of Dublin. And we're sat in what used to be my older brother's room in my parents' house. So shout out to them.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
So here's a massive opportunity for us to rise up the comedy charts in Ireland.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, we're helping you guys here. So
Exactly.
And thank you.
Right, so the story here is these two lovely young ladies are going to, in a couple of days, could be a week, we'll find out, do a double-handed round island record attempt. So a first all-female double-handed round island record attempt in their yacht. Now, here we go, boys. You ready? Iarracht Maigeanta. Iarracht Maigeanta, is this correct? Have I got even close?
That's good. That's better than my attempt.
You're going a little bit Scottish, but I think that's
That's the ginger in him.
That's the red end.
You've gone a little bit Scottish. I love it. All right.
Iarracht Maigeanta. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
You're after Penta.
So tell us about this project. Tell us. You put in your words, and then we'll tear you apart, rip into it, and find the detail.
Okay. Well, the gist of it is, as you said, we've called it Iarracht Maigeanta because that means magenta challenge in Irish. So basically, the concept's pretty simple. We're going to sail a figaro 3 around Ireland as fast as we can. And the idea has kind of come from... and in doing so, what we're hoping to achieve is we're doing the course set out by the World Speed Sailing Record Council, which starts from a starting line off Kish Lighthouse and Dunleary Pier, which is in Dublin. And you can go either north or south. So you can go around the island either way, depending on the weather window. And this is where all the official Round Ireland records have been set. So the course is slightly different from the Round Ireland race. So it's a little bit different on that, but that's where FIDO, have set their record and all of that. And that's the course that's kind of logged with the World Sailing Speed Record. So what we're hoping to do is basically we want to set the benchmark for the double-handed Round Ireland record. There currently isn't one. And we also want to set the benchmark for the all-female Round Ireland record. There currently isn't one. And on
That's
top of that,
definitely setting the benchmark.
Yeah. So there's an existing under 40-foot record, which we would be pretty cool if we could take that one out as well. And then there is an existing monohull record, which is a little bit faster because the boat's like 60 foot or something. But who knows? Maybe we'll get a really good window. But basically, to set those two benchmarks for the double-handed and the female. And the idea is in us doing this, basically, I really wanted to kind of just create a bit of chatter and a bit of motivation, inspiration for young female sailors in Ireland or aspiring female sailors in Ireland, just to kind of like open up the window of what's possible and what you can kind of aspire to, especially kind of moving out of dinghies and the next thing beyond that. And also just for girls to see that like it's two female skippers. So yeah, like doesn't have to, like a lot of the mixed sailing is often like a guy and a girl, but we reckon, it can be two girls as well. So I'm kind of hoping that in doing this, we're just creating a bit of an excitement, a bit of chat, and like then maybe people will come and try and beat our challenge if we set the benchmark, or maybe we can come back again and beat it again, and just kind of get more girls kind of pumped up about just getting out there and getting experience. And it's just about creating opportunities to get experience on the helm and navigating for girls in Ireland and the UK, but also all around the place.
I think as well, like it's so important at the moment. We've got these rule changes in the ocean race with like crew requirements having females on board, as well as with the new double-handed Olympic class. It's mixed mixed crew, so you've got one guy and one girl on board. And I think we want to prove that as a female being part of that, you're not the token female, which can often happen on board crewed boats. But we're serious sailors in our own rights, and we do, we deserve to be there as well.
Well, brilliant.
You're here. Bloody hell.
Why are they being so foolish?
Having, knowing those waters a little bit, first of all, for the record attempt, it's certainly no small undertaking.
No.
What's the exact distance again?
It's just under 700 nautical miles, so it's like 698 with the world sailing record one. The world sailing record course, there's a few rocks that you can go inside that on the Round Ireland you can't, but I think it takes off like 10 miles all in all, so it's pretty similar. But,
so it's basically a fair chunk of time, especially on a figaro ferry. Not to mention all the different tidal gates you go through and all the different what you can see on the not only the western side but also along up north as well. But the question is, what you're seeing weather-wise now, do you go north or south?
Well, that's where we're basically, like, we don't have to decide that until we'll decide that based on the weather, essentially. So that's kind of the nice thing about the world, that this course is that you can go either way, and really we don't need to decide until we look at what looks good at the time. And we let them know what we're doing. So it actually it works well for us as well, because it does give us that bit more flexibility to work with different weather systems and just see what's suiting us there. So we don't know yet, basically.
Who's doing your modelling? Are you doing all the modelling for it, or are you working with anyone?
We're pretty lucky. We've got Miles Seddon on board helping us out with the weather. He's very experienced. He's an awesome guy.
Tell him to use his good eye.
Obviously helped out. Like, he's worked on the Fado record before, and is super knowledgeable with that. And he's keeping an eye on the weather for us, and we'll be in contact with him while we do the record as well. Obviously as well with the Maigeanta project, we've got Libby Greenall as well. She's helping us out. Incredible lady as well. Yeah,
so we've been super lucky. Like, once I came up with the idea, like drinking beer with Marcus Hutchinson back in France, and like it was like he was like, oh, we were kind of like, oh, because my mixed-handed sailing partner Kenny Rumble, who is part of our team RL Sailing, he was doing the solitaire and I was doing the prep stuff for him. And Marcus and I were just like chit-chatting back and forth, and I was like, oh, what can you do? What can we do next? And he was kind of like, well, I'll give you the Figaro if you, do something like, I don't know, sail around Ireland. And I was like, well, okay, I will. So it kind of spiraled from that. So it started with like a really simple idea, and then it kind of like escalated, and I realized what I'd signed up for. And we've just been so lucky because Miles has come on board with this ridiculous idea to like really help us out and like try and make it actually happen, and also try and being safe and doing it well, but also hopefully doing it in like a pretty good time. And then the same with Libby and Abby in the Maigeanta project. Again, we've just been so lucky; they've really jumped on board to try and help us and make it happen. So it's pretty awesome, really.
Yeah, certainly a good team behind you there, and some greats of the sport. But one very serious question: when you were discussing with Marcus, were you throwing your arms around in the air, kind of reliving or what you're about to live, essentially performing bar karate?
Yes, exactly. One beer in hand, other beer flailing bar karate.
On my little spiel at the start where I talked about, don't worry about beer too much, I'm doing the right thing. Clearly, beer does do some good things, This is the great ideas that come out of a beer.
Well, let's face it also, every Irish person that we have during our little Irish extravaganza there and just adding this into the mix, it's quite a common theme.
Even amongst Olympic medalists.
Yeah.
We are actually sat with coffees this morning with a little bit of whiskey.
We did put a little Bushmills in because we were a bit nervous.
What were you nervous for?
And I was speaking to Brian Carlin actually as well, has come on board to give us a hand, and he said to say hi, lads.
Yes. All right. Well, we're good mates. So, g'day, Brian. I know he listens religiously to the program, and obviously Brian is going through a bit of a stressful period at the moment with that photo that was put up on the internet.
I was just about to say, have you seen the photo?
Bruno Dubois just destroying the young fella. Not very nice.
Did you see the Photoshop version?
No.
With Raylene Boyle, what was her name? Raylene Boyle, the singer that came on England's Got Talent, whatever it was, a few years back.
Oh, not Raylene. She's a runner.
What's her name?
Suzanne Boyle.
Suzanne Boyle.
Remember, I did that mistake the other way around before.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you're right.
Oh, dear. All right, let's get back to our lovely ladies. So the first question then around the routing, well, that's what we're talking about. What's your preferred route? If you could have your perfect conditions, what are you looking for? Because are you gonna wait till you get your conditions, or are you going to try and fit into a pretty tight window?
We've got a pretty tight window when we need to get this done. Obviously, we're getting into winter.
Days are getting nights are getting longer, days are getting shorter, and it's getting cold. Getting some pretty windy stuff coming off the Atlantic as well. So I think a lot of people think we're a little bit crazy going this time of year as well. But actually, Miles was like great month, so that was nice.
Okay.
We're working in the restrictions that, we've also got to get the boat back to France afterwards. So we've kind of given ourselves October is our limit, because getting into November, you're just getting more into winter. The days are getting shorter and it's just getting a bit silly. So we're definitely working with a little bit of give and take, a good window to get us round well. It's not going to be absolutely perfect. So it's a little bit of, pros and cons on each thing. So our main goal is to get it done and get it done well. And then on top of that, to try and, go in an ideal window.
It would be a lot nicer to spend a lot of time going downwind, because that's a lot more fun rather than slamming through the Irish Sea and the Atlantic going upwind.
In a figaro 3.
They don't like the upwind, so
pretty uncomfy.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of we want to get going and do it well, but we are restricted in a certain amount as
I think Bicey's doing some routing for you right now.
I'm just having a look. You probably don't want to be leaving, essentially going around Fastneck Rock, heading north on Tuesday into about 40 knots on the nose. Yeah, that wouldn't be much fun. Other way around might go right.
Yeah. I was thinking that. Sorry, I thought someone was going to say something. Yeah, it is a bit of a challenge. Like, I must admit, I don't think I'd ever these days. I only go offshore when it's downwind, and there's canapes being served. So, who makes the final decision? Oh, actually, that's what I wanted to get to. How do we follow you? Like, is there a way we can actually watch it?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to have, we've got all our, the social media stuff and that, but we're going to have a yellow brick tracker, which is compulsory with the World Sailing Record as well. And then they also give us a black box tracker, which is their thing to make sure that we're not cheating, I guess. We've actually gone around the island.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah, we'll be totally trackable.
Where else are you going to go?
Yeah.
Bit of a cruise around the Solent.
No, just pull in.
No, cool. So if you want to announce now on Bar Karate, when are you going to leave?
I
mean, you can announce it now. That's fine.
Tuesday.
We were hoping, well, we've just got a few little bits on the boat to get ready. Like there's just a few things we've just got to, double check all our comms, and actually the black box is in the post on its way. So we kind of need that before we can go. But we're essentially, by the end of today, we're hoping to be literally ready to leave. And then it's just kind of looking at the windows. So it doesn't look like it'll be the start of this week, but there's a chance it could be.
There's a nice low kind of coming in that might be sitting over Ireland like on Thursday.
Yeah.
But obviously it's quite far off. So we've got our eyes on that one.
Ideally,
the end of the week?
Yeah, maybe the end of the week. Like we're keen to go as soon as possible, but we're kind of it's a little bit
going in the southerly direction initially. Is that what you're thinking, or just still kind of?
I kind of like the idea of going north. I don't know why. Miles sold it to us.
Irish.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Time to insert Irish joke. No, only joking. No, cool. That's cool. We're looking forward to following this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
It's up in the air, and like what we're going is like we're just going to kind of be as ready as possible to go, and then it's going to be those kind of like last bits of conversation, and then it's like, okay, go time. That's how we're kind of looking at it. And like with our passage planning and all our routing, we're looking at it very much from be ready to go either way. Like either north or south.
We've
like
got
just
the flexibility of either way, really.
Yeah, which is
decide later.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of exciting in that way, but then it's also like a little tricky to get your head around it because you're not like working on a set date and a set plan and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's exciting.
So can I rewind all of this? Obviously, this Round Island thing is a goal that's been sort of in place for a while. Can we talk a little bit about a little bit about your sailing backgrounds, perhaps, and where it all came from?
Yeah.
Start with whoever wants.
Okay, I can go.
Go for it.
Sailing background. So actually, that's actually what's kind of been really cool about the whole project is we sailed the Figaro. Like we've got the Figaro here in Greystones Marina, which is a pretty new marina, and there isn't many Figaros docked here. Like none. It's not like in France where there's just these awesome racing boats everywhere. So like it's actually been really cool to bring the boat back to, I guess, like where it all started. And actually when we sailed in and it was like lashing rain, like proper lashing rain. We were coming in, it was miserable. And my mum was like out on the end of the pier with this giant Irish flag, like waving it at us as we arrived, like welcoming Cat to Ireland. So it's been really cool to kind of bring the Figaro and the whole thing back to like, rather than being always in Dunleary where most of the sailing in Ireland is based, it's kind of like back to, people are really excited and have been really supportive here because it's just a bit different and it's a bit of a change of scene. So basically Greystones is where I'm from, and we kind of started sailing here in dinghies. My dad is like a mad GP14 sailor. Like that's basically, he just loves them. He's like Mr. GP14. So cool. He's been sailing them kind of all his life. I think they kind of built their first boats and stuff together. So I very much just grew up with like dad shoving us in dinghies, and that's kind of all we were doing. And then kind of through that did, my dinghy sailing courses in Ireland and did dinghy racing, mostly in mirrors and GPs and that kind of thing. And, and then became an instructor, the kind of usual dinghy sailing pathway. And then I think and then did team racing and stuff in college, kind of all the normal stuff and just really enjoying it. And then I didn't really start to think about, I guess I didn't really realize that offshore racing was a thing or an option because I guess at the time it didn't seem that big in Ireland or really that accessible. But then I got offered a chance to do an Atlantic delivery on fairly cushy Oyster 65. And I just loved being offshore and that kind of big boat sailing. And it kind of I think that really sparked a little buzz in me. And then after that, I ended up moving to Sydney And I got to Sydney and I was like, okay, well, I want to go sailing. I can't buy my own boat, but there's a lot of boats out here. So, maybe I need to jump on another boat. So I kind of started fishing around, got on a few boats. I was sailing from the squadron first. And then I was like, wait a second, what's this blue water point score thing and the Sydney Hobart? Like, I want to do that. That sounds awesome.
When were you in Sydney?
God, what year would I have?
2013.
Oh, 2013.
Thank you. I'm like, So yeah.
He does his research, doesn't
he? 2012, 2013. And anyway, so I decided, like, I kind of set my sights on Sydney Hobart on the offshore stuff. And so then I kind of started looking for boats that were doing that sort of campaign and jumped around on a few different boats and a few different things. And then one day I stepped onto Black Sheep with Des and Marty Shepherd, and I kind of never got off there when I was in Sydney. They liked, I think Desi liked, he's a Sharpie sailor and stuff, and I think he liked the fact that I come from a dinghy background. And they kind of were just like, yeah, if you're keen, you're here, you're given the time, we'll teach you whatever you need to know. So I started off learning the bow and all of that, and then went back to trimming and kind of just did like a few full blue water point score series with them and Sydney Hobart. And then they were also, Desi was really good mates with Hicko. So I started sailing with Hicko on Wild Rose and stuff. And they had like an awesome
say you're sailing with one of the legends of the sport down here in Australia, Roger Hicko Hickman.
Yeah. And like for anyone who knew Hicko, the impression I got anyway was he was always just such a proponent of girls, and like if you look at his crew that they won the Hobart with, like I think it was 50% girls, if not more. He had like Bongie and Sam, who was kind of maybe one of the youngest sailors that year, and then there was really cool female sailors like Jen and Jackie and stuff. So you could really see how like girls and women were like in those two boats that I sailed in, they were really integrated into that, and it was all about kind of giving opportunities and having fun. So I just got hooked from there basically, and just wanted to do more and more. And then from then I basically made the decision to go and try kind of professional sailing in the kind of yachty sense. So went off and kind of was in Palma and doing deliveries and different work there, and then I ended up based in Barbados I feel like I'm yabbering on here.
That's all right. It's good though. Like, think about it from a young lass listening to the show, like just going, okay, I get it. This is the stuff you got to do. So keep going.
But Kat, you'll only have 2 minutes, okay?
No. I'm Irish, we know how to talk.
Only joking.
I guess the next step after that was like I got my yacht master, so I kind of had like tickets and all those bits to kind of start skippering and nav, and ended up in a job in Barbados. So I was based there for 6 months, and I was there. I started sailing J24s and stuff, and we got to know the guys Clint and stuff on Conviction, the TP52 out there. So then I got a taste for that, and that was quite fun. So I did a bit of racing with them, and that was kind of my first jump onto a more, I guess, high performance fast boat, which was really, really cool. And obviously racing in the Caribbean's a dream. And then the next big thing for me after that was getting a job with Richard Matthews, who's British oyster catcher boats. Yep. So I was first mate on his big Oyster 85, and kind of we took that into commission and based on that. But then along with that, I raced on a lot of his race boats, and he had different boats in different places all the time, from like oyster catchers in the Caribbean to the HH42 out there. But then also we did a lot of classics in France. So I think like I really got a nice, like you were just jumping on a different boat and getting ready to race and kind of going with it. And then also doing all the nav and running the big oyster kind of, I think I crossed the Atlantic about 7 times in that period. So you kind of get used to all of that kind of stuff as well. And then also with him really getting to sail with some really cool pros, like good friends now with Saskia Clark and a few of the other guys. So that was kind of nice to see into that world. And I did that for about almost 4 years with my boyfriend at the time, Owen, as well, who's an Aussie. So we were doing that for about 4 years, and I just finished up in November then. And I just felt like I was pretty keen to kind of see what sailing I could do for myself, and basically take everything that I felt that I'd learned over the last few years from sailing with other people and other teams, and see if I could kind of put that together for myself. And I'm really hammering on.
Well, no, that's cool. That's cool.
No, not at all.
So
it shows the path.
The path and the determination. That's the other thing. So I just, the qualifications as well. That's ridiculous. Like, I'm surprised you have a boyfriend, because you've got your yacht masters. You did your STCW, which is fair enough. You got a senior instructor certificate, advanced dinghy instructor, racing instructor, level 1 sailing coach. You've got your power boats, level 1, and then you've got your safety boat certificate. You've got your radio certificates. You've got your first aid certificates. You've got your paddy diving ticket. And you've got a bronze surf life-saving ticket from Ireland. So you've got a bronze medallion, I guess, for surf life-saving, which I assume in Ireland is you just tell people not to get in the water.
Just don't do it. Just don't.
Just don't swim. So yeah, God knows how you got any time for anything else. It's cool.
That was actually, you thought that was the Irish flag. Your mum was flag waving. It was all your certificates sewn together.
Yeah.
28 feet long.
Over the years.
You can look after me well when we go around Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God. And then, I guess the last little bit on that is I was kind of I had all these plans to do. I was like, great, I'm going to be in Ireland for a season, and I'm going to do the round Ireland. I'll do another Fastnet. I'll do Cork Week, because it was Cork Week 300 and all these cool stuff that I've been away for and I haven't been back doing. And that was the plan. And then COVID happened and everything was cancelled. But in the meantime, I also got asked this double-handed offshore sailing, was announced from the Olympics and everything. And basically, Ireland was kind of having this thing where guys were getting into teams together. And Joan Malloy, who's an Irish offshore sailor, she's kind of the only female Irish sailor to have done the solitaire. Her and Kenny Rumble, who's another sailor here, who's my current sailing partner. They set up a team to kind of try and qualify for the Irish, to represent Ireland in the offshore world. So that was kind of bubbling along. And I was in touch with these guys about sailing, just kind of looking to get on a good boat and stuff. And then basically Joan announced that she was having her first child. So
how convenient.
Yes, in steps Pam. With no children. So then Kenny asked me if I'd like to jump into Joan's place. And that's how all this double-handed stuff really kicked off. And we were planning to try and qualify to represent Ireland in the world and everything. That all got cancelled because of COVID. So then the next plan was Kenny we had the Figaro kind of all sorted, and Kenny basically decided to take on the solitaire. And we reckoned that was the best way for us as a team or to get better at short-handed sailing, because that's literally where it's at. Yep. So then we were off to France with the Figaro, and as I said, the rest is kind of history. Hanging out with Marcus, talking shit, and now I'm here with the Figaro.
Here.
Yeah, and that's
here with us.
Now, Kat, before you start, where did the Magenta project fall into this? Just for what you're planning here, or they came along at another time?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Magenta project. I've just always been following what they're doing, obviously, and super inspired by all the sailors involved there. But actually, it was Marcus had worked with the Magenta project before, and he was like, if you're going to do this, you definitely need to hook up with these guys. So he kind of helped facilitate an initial link. And then subsequently, you were just talking about the mentorship program. So I had just put in an application also for that, which I've just now started with Sam Holiday is going to be my mentor for the year. So it all kind of linked in with that. And they very much just came on board to really help and support, pull this project through. But it's kind of worked in really nicely with the mentorship project and everything going forward. But just having them on board is really, really good, because as I said, we're kind of trying to do this to create a bit of energy and a bit of a message, but with them on board, it gives us that legitimacy and that support, but it also helps spread the message more, obviously.
Certainly.
So, really cool.
Definitely it's a great program.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Oh, Jordan and his toys.
And his buttons and his little buttons.
Okie doke.
Was that the green button or the red button, Jordan?
No, the magenta one.
Nice.
Righto.
We're out of time for Kat.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
So, and then, of course, one of the great things about you, Pamela, is Kat's never sailed before and you're just going to tow her around.
Yeah, that's just my chat buddy. I like to talk, as you might have guessed. So I was like, I could do it solo, but then, like,
who are you going to talk to?
Only really.
Yeah.
So, Kat, is it true?
Yeah, we talk a lot of shit, and then we're like, the sailing.
Yeah. Kat, is it true, because you're doing your study in biomedical sciences, that actually your involvement with Pamela just came about through some research you're doing for your
as
degree?
An experiment?
To be honest, I've kind of half forgotten I'm actually doing a biomedical science.
Shouldn't you be in a lecture right now?
I should probably be in some lecture right now on immunology or trying to find a corona cure.
Yeah.
No, sailing around Ireland.
But I feel like I'm doing more degree in offshore sailing with a side of biomedical science, to be honest.
So you're an English lass, not Irish. How do you go?
First time to Ireland.
Hey, first time?
Yeah.
How do you go?
How many Guinnesses have you had?
I've managed about a third of a Guinness so far.
Well, yeah,
which is quite a good effort.
Yeah,
it's not bad. It's only 10 a.m. Going all right.
Actually, meal as well, because that's a meal in itself.
Yeah.
We took it for our first Guinness, and I didn't realize I kind of didn't think.
This was my first.
Yeah, it's quite a acquired taste, and we just slapped a pint down in front of her, and I'm like, get stuck in. And then I was like, actually, maybe, you don't have to finish
3 hours later.
Kat, how do you go with the language barrier?
I think it's fine until a few drinks down, and then the accent.
Before we get on to you're going to have to start learning a few Irish ditties to sing on the boat, just when you're getting tired.
We've actually got a tin whistle on board. So if suddenly we find we've got nothing to do when we're double-handed sailing,
around Ireland in 35-knot nor'easter.
You'll be right. You'll have plenty to do.
Parsnip Rock, we'll
do a bit of twiddling along the way.
Tune and some Irish dancing.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be some GoPro videos of some tin whistle action along the route.
Fantastic. All right, so back to your sailing. How you started up, Kat?
Yeah, maybe I'll do it in like a little 60-second roundup or something.
Yeah, sorry.
What's my time limit? I grew up in the Lake District, which that's like the deep, dark northwest of England, where there's no offshore sailing scene, no yachting scene. There's lots of lakes, and my parents got me and my twin sister into dinghy sailing. So every Saturday, me and my twin sister Hannah, who's still doing a load of sailing now, we'd rock up and with our little helmets on and our buoyancy aids, and we'd go out sailing. And we had, the only way to tell us apart was I had a bright red buoyancy aid and she had a bright yellow buoyancy aid. Luckily I've ditched that now. I have grown out of that. We started there, and we both caught the bug for it really, and we were pushing my dad to bring us on like every Saturday afternoon. Can we go sailing? That became Saturdays and Sundays. Can we go after school on a Wednesday? And then we were like, there's Monday, let's go racing, and Thursday. And we both caught the bug and loved it, and we started racing in fevers and then into 200s. And then later on, I guess, was when I got into doing yacht stuff and some keelboat racing. I was heading down to the south coast to go and race on keelboats down there, and then getting a late Sunday night train back, like 6-hour train back to the Lake District to back in time for school. And I think it was like the middle of my teens. I was actually coached at a keelboat event by Libby Greenall, and she was just about to go off and do the Volvo, is it 150, the Round Island race? Oh no, it's not.
The round Ireland.
So the round island race.
No, it used to be Volvo. It's now SSE Renewables.
It's now SSE Renewables. Yeah. So she was just about to head off and do that race with a team of women on the Concise 2 Class 40. I think it was sponsored by Head Candy at the time. And she was navigator on board for these women. And I think I must have been 16, 17 years old. And I thought these were like the coolest, most badass women ever. And I was like, I want to be those girls. I think they're so cool. And then so I was like, I set my mind to it and I was like, right, I'm going to be an offshore sailor. That's what I want to be. And I think now, like, I'm so keen to get other girls to see what you can go and do, because if I hadn't had that in my head and been able to see that, yeah, you can go and make a career of it, you can go and do like other parts of sailing, you can skipper, you can drive the boat, there's so many roles for you. I wouldn't have had that ambition, I think. So then when I was in sixth form, I was pretty lucky. I got selected to sail on a Class 40 for my first like offshore series, and this was my first like chance to do offshore sailing. So that was actually through the Maigeanta project as well, and we did the full season with like the fast net, and yeah, that was awesome. My first experience that we had of like night sailing, and then from that I moved on to sailing with Sunrise, which is a JPK 1180. We're an awesome group of guys. Had so much fun racing with them for my like my second sort of year of offshore stuff. And that fast net, my dad actually decided he was going to do the race as well. So he did it on a Sigma 38 while I was racing on this 1180. And we finished on the Tuesday, chilled out for a few days, had a little party, and my dad came in on the Thursday. So I was pretty smug that I had I got in way before him, and we actually took Tom, the owner of Sunrise, we took his rib out to the finish line, and they had such a drift off over the finish line for about a mile. No. So it was like, I think it was about midnight, we ribbed out with a big crate of beers for all the guys, and with my mum on board as well, and we went up to the boat and like handed my dad and all those guys beers. So it was quite a smug feeling to have
a little family bonding.
And then I think I was getting a little bit more serious about wanting to do sailing as a career, and realised that I could do that after university or whatever. So I wanted to try and pick up some extra skills as well. I started working for North Sails in their little loft in Cowes. I knew literally nothing when I went in. I couldn't use a sewing machine, could barely cut in a straight line. The guys
sounds very familiar.
These guys taught me a lot of stuff there about sail repairs and all sorts. So hopefully we won't have to use too many of those skills. Hopefully our sails will stay in one piece.
I think what's really cool about all this story, and Jordan, you touched on it earlier, is the drive, that is required to give this stuff a go. And I think this is the story of the show. And I think that's what I'd like to tap on here, is that what we've got here is two girls who've got a dream and a passion and an absolute drive to achieve something, and that's what they're doing. So for the listeners out there, I think that's what this is about, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's about, I think both of us in this project is especially is like, it's about like very much taking opportunities that people give to you, but also kind of having a bit of trying to make opportunities as well.
Well, you have to make your own opportunities. That's how it is. Yeah. It's not like you can go to university and study professional yachting.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd all be in that situation. Yeah. I think it's especially this year when we've had a lot of our plans sort of cancelled and everything's been up in the air. We could have had two attitudes about it. We could have sat at home and been pretty moody and been pretty annoyed that we can't all go sailing, or we turn this around and we say, well, let's find a boat, Pam came to me, let's find a sailor, and let's go and try and set ourselves a challenge and achieve a challenge and
And in the meantime, we're getting more experience as well.
Exactly.
Like, it's for us as well as being about, like, you know, inspiring and setting a challenge and that. Like, at the end of the day, we're still getting awesome. We're getting better because we're doing it.
And the thing is, with offshore sailing, there isn't a set pathway to get into it. There isn't a
follow these 5 steps.
There isn't a nice guide to tell you how to come from a little dinghy sailor on a lake up north to becoming a ocean race sailor or a figaro sailor. There is no one telling you. You've got to. It's kind of trial and error. You've got to try things out here and stick yourself in like pretty nerve-wracking situations at times, and you're going to get imposter syndrome a lot. But you do have to keep pushing yourself and putting yourself in in situations where you're going to make more opportunities.
Yeah, which is what you did about how you ended up coming out to the solitaire as well. Yeah, like that was totally.
Yeah, that was pretty last minute, and I ended up working with Alan Roberts and.
Oh, hang on! Stop.
I knew BP was going to jump.
Stop. It's Alan Roberts, the guy with this very English French, the French guy with a very English name.
Part Brazilian as well, I believe.
No, we've been following him in the solitaire. So actually, we'll probably get him on the show.
Yeah,
and also Jack Boutel, which
you're Aussie.
Just some Australian bloke. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Aussie French mate. No. Yeah. And is that how this beautiful friendship flourished, being around the scenes there? And
so we were both working as like preparators, and we were the only two.
We were the female preparators. And also I think all the other preparators were French.
I think we're the only English speaking. So it wasn't, I guess it was a forced friendship.
Do you speak French? Do you speak French?
Friendship by default.
Do you speak French at all?
My swear words and pub slang have been improved dramatically over the last month.
That's actually normal with every language, but I'm saying, do you actually speak any French?
Yeah, I have like a good basic French. I did go to school in France a bit when I was younger, so that was
Jordan's very good at French names.
Right.
Pronunciations are his best.
Pronunciations. Yeah, let's stop being actually. And the other thing, I think, just to give Kat her full record, done a transatlantic as well. So I just want to get that down on the record. So, and then.
Oh yeah. Wait, no, and you got a prize for you were the youngest.
Oh, I'm always the baby. I can't wait until I'm not the baby.
Maybe you can get a record for be the youngest all-female double-handed round Ireland, because I'm older than you.
I think we're trying to grasp.
I can get the oldest all-female.
Brown Island record with 2 dogs on. What other records can we get?
Yeah. What else can we achieve in this one lap of Ireland?
All right. Well, so we've got a little bit of understanding about you. What about the boat? What do you like the boat? The Figaro 3?
I do.
I love it.
We like it.
I don't want to give it back at the end of the month, really.
It's kind of funny. Like, I think like all the guys finishing the solitaire come off and they're just like, get me off this thing. And we're like, okay, yay, we'll jump on. Yay. We both love it. Like, it is a bit of a pinch me
moment that we've ended up with a Figaro. Just
like we're out sailing it and we're like, oh my God, someone's giving us a Figaro and we're right here on our own, just chucking up sails, going for a burn. Like yesterday we put up the code 0 and we just went like lashing out to sea and we're like, woohoo! And then we dropped it and we're like, oh, what should we do next? And then I was like, oh God, I've got to leave to go pick up some sails in like an hour. We've got to go back to shore. And then we're like, oh, we've gone quite far because we're going quite fast because we're just having fun. So if we get that around Ireland, we'll have a great time. But yeah, I think we're both really frothing up the boat.
Yeah.
We should actually set you ladies some challenges while you're doing this round the island record. So
here we go.
So the first one is, I reckon
we'll have to screen these.
No, they're good. They're good.
if the listeners just hear a beep from this point on.
So the first one would be obviously a photo where you're just lying on the windward foil, heading along. So just hiking out on the windward foil, but you can't do that without breaching the rules. Can you do that legally or not? We don't want you to breach any rules. So just
not allowed outside the lifelines, right?
That's right. So
sure.
I haven't read the safety rules yet, but I will.
Yeah, you better not do that.
Before or after the completion, I would suggest any photo like that was taken before or after the completion of the
so
race.
Just don't make sure Fastnet Rock's not in the background.
Okay. The next one is, and Kat, you might. I'm not sure how you'll know this. I think we should get you guys to record a rendition of Rattling Bog as you're out in the middle of the ocean.
Perfect. I can already whistle it, so you have to sing.
All right, let's give us a crack now.
Just give us a rendition now. Start.
No, on the tin whistle. I don't know.
Yeah, copy.
I can go and grab it now.
Do you know the song, Kat?
No.
I heard the rattling. No, I will.
Oh, no, yes. Yeah.
You've heard me.
Like,
every time someone says Rattling Bog, I go, hey ho, the Rattling Bog.
Yeah, there we go. It's an Irish tradition. And then I guess we can't actually, you haven't got a sailor's lager, so you can't knock one of those down while you're out
Unless
there.
you can post one out to us.
I might actually throw one in the merchandise pack. It shouldn't be far away.
Yeah.
It'll arrive with your stubby cooler.
Actually, on a serious question, how's it going to work? What are you going to do with your shifts? How are you going to work it? Who's going to navigate? All that sort of stuff. Have you got that worked out? Who makes the mistakes? Who gets everything right?
You go. I did loads of talking.
So the plan is to kind of, we've got to do everything on board really. So we're pretty going to share all the roles. To be honest, we might have one person with a bit more responsibility over the nav, one person with a bit more responsibility over keeping the boat in order, making sure iPad for nav's charged, our sat phone's charged, etc.
Battery charged, just all of those kind of little bits.
Yeah, or like the housekeeping activities. But then in terms of sleep, I'm hoping for a full 6 hours every night, to be honest. No, I think we're going to be doing
and bacon and eggs for breakfast.
Best case scenario, like 2 hours on. 2 hours off.
We've been talking about it a bit, and like we're basically like essentially that's the cool thing about, or the thing about double-handed sailing, and why I particularly think that it's a really good discipline for girls to look to get involved in, because if there's two of you on board, like both of you, like that's why it's so good. Like both of you have to be abreast of skippering, trimming, nav, all the other things. So we're kind of at the moment we're working towards making sure both of us are fully up to speed on everything. And then we were chatting with Libby, and she was kind of giving us some really good pointers to them. What we're going to do is just break down the role, like all the key things that need to be done and the key roles, break them down, and then kind of split them. So each of us has our things that we've got to make sure is happening and we're kind of in charge of, but very much in a kind of communicative, collaborative, but just to make sure everything's done. But like the main goal is really that we're both able to do everything. Yeah. And then each of us just has a few things that it's our job to make sure is happening. Like, as I said, just like making sure we download the weather grids when we have signal, keeping in time with our comms checks, and all of that kind of stuff. So as I said, that's the great thing about the double-handed stuff, is like we both want to be over it. And then with the watch systems, we were kind of thinking, because we probably do like maybe an hour and a half off and then like a half hour overlap, or else like 2 hours each with a half hour overlap in the middle, so that we at least have some time on every changeover to sit there, chat together, have a proper handover rather than like a kind of 5-minute handover, up on deck.
Can I make a suggestion? You might need more than half an hour.
Maybe an hour lap over then. Yeah. No. Chit chat, yeah.
You will find a rhythm. It's quite. It'll become natural once you're out there. I think putting too much expectations on is hard, but once you're out there, you'll get into the rhythm, and hopefully it all goes to plan.
I guess you would have received quite a bit of feedback from the whom you would have spoken to within Solitaire and all, well, the other Figaro stuff, and food and safety and all that sort of kind of just taking on a heap of potatoes, or essentially, or you're kind of following the lead of what these boats have done previously?
Actually, I'm not a big fan of potatoes. Probably because I had them with every single meal growing up as a child. So, and they're a bit bland, really, to be honest. Anyway, that's my personal potato.
You probably shouldn't mention potatoes to an Irish person when they're sitting next to an English person. That
awkward.
It's a little awkward. Anyway, go on. So, the safety, I'm interested in the safety element because, that's something that we think about a lot. Two-person racing, one person goes overboard. Have you practiced? Have you got it worked out? How are you going to handle that?
Yeah, and so we're gonna go right back to really basic safety stuff to start off with, kind of like life jackets on all the time, always clipped on, like those things that you get lax on when you're when you're just like training or when you're doing inshore stuff, or when there's like it's a nice day and there's like 8 other people on the boat. So we just got to peel that right back, just like basic rules, life jackets clipped on all the time.
Yeah, it's also peace of mind for the other person who's down below. You know they're clipped on, they've got a life jacket on. You can like shut your eyes and try and get some sleep.
Yeah. And then also on top of that, Kenny, my mixed double hand partner, he runs a sailing school up here, the Irish National Sailing School, and they do loads of safety qualifications and all the courses, and they run all of that. So he's running us through like a one-on-one, just rejig of all our safety equipment, all our procedures, everything else. So we're going to just have a session together with someone else, kind of just like all that stuff that and you've learned through the safety things and it's in the back of your head, but because you've never used it, it kind of gets a bit dusty. So we're doing like a full run through with him kind of, reminding us of all our stuff and all our procedures and running through all of that, and even just everything to, launching the rafts again and our EPIRBs, and I just make sure everything is clear as day, so that if shit does hit the fan, it's second nature.
In terms of like communication as well, when we're out there, we've got a sat phone and an Iridium Go as well. So if you're a dinghy sailor and don't know what a sat phone is, basically it looks like a big old style Nokia brick phone.
A really trendy model.
Very cool.
Jordan just got one for his birthday, actually.
Sadly, you can't get the snake game where you go around.
That would be dangerous.
That's a shame. That would be dangerous.
Really good at snake.
But it means we'll have constant contact with Kenny on shore, and also Miles and Libby as well. So we're going to have constant input from them in terms of navigation, from like a safety point of view. As well.
And Kenny is basically like he's running our total onshore safety. So he's
I was going to ask. That was my question. I was going to ask you. So I'm assuming you've just said Kenny is going to be doing that. Obviously, there'd be stations all around the island that know you're going. And I guess you probably have to report in at some stage, but I'm assuming that's all.
We don't actually have any kind of set up reporting system, but Kenny's kind of like our onshore dude, and he's been offshore sailing like in Ireland. Like he's got a massive CV of offshore sailing in Ireland, and he's done a number of round Irelands as skipper on his own boat. Mm-hmm. So he really knows all the areas and he knows all the harbours, and we've run through a whole like a safe haven drop in. He's like, this one's good, this one's not, this one's, so we know all the ports that we can't go into, so we know where our drop off points are, and he's essentially going to be like ready to go with a big rib and all of that, like ready to go at any point should we need it. And then we've got Miles on with the weather and nav there as well, so there'll be a lot of communication between those guys and Libby as well. And then also Brian is coming in to help out kind of as a backup to those guys if something does happen and, either shit hits the fan and it's a big thing, or it's just something small, like Brian's going to come in and kind of help manage it all so that Kenny and Miles can just literally focus on helping us out and not having to talk to all the other people that are going, oh, what's going on? What's this? So we've got a whole kind of system in place to cover all those eventualities, and just making sure we know where our drop-off points are, where our safe havens are, and who we talk to.
Speaking of talking to, how about we give you a call halfway through?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome. Yeah, we'd love that.
Yeah.
I'm sick of each other after 2 days. We'd be like, someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be class. Yeah, we can organise that we'll organise to get the sat phone number and a time set with the shore guys and things. That'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that'd be fantastic. Cool.
Technology, hey?
Love it.
Love it.
I'm looking forward to this. Yeah.
What you should actually, another thing you should do is actually, Ireland's got some funny place names, obviously. You could actually do a list of the funny ones around the coastline, and then you could just describe yourself as being offshore from one of those sort of quite funny names.
Yeah.
That could be
Have you heard one of the best ones is there's a small town, I think it's in Donegal, so I could be slightly off. A small town somewhere on the northwest coast of Ireland, and it's called Muff.
Yep.
And there is a Muff diving centre there as well.
What does that mean? No, stop.
No. I knew of Muff. I'm glad you brought it up because I would have gotten a heap of trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, Jordan's got a whole heap of these. Don't worry.
And obviously, we're expecting Fungi to pop out and say hi. Dolphin.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, Fungi. Fungi is Ireland's only resident dolphin, and we think he's about 150 years old at this stage, or else they're replacing him. It's unclear.
Ireland's got one dolphin.
Well,
resident. He gets some mates in there sometimes.
Yeah.
He's the famous one. He's kind of like your what's your Skippy? It's like your Skippy.
Oh, the only kangaroo in Australia.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go Ningaloo, the white whale that's always off the coast of Australia. Everyone knows Ningaloo.
Probably that would have been more relevant, probably.
Yeah,
Skippy was good.
We'll run with Skippy. What's that, Skippy?
Or Skip.
Oh, dear. Actually, have you guys actually done many miles offshore together?
Together? Offshore miles?
Together.
Yeah, our first sail together was from France back to Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay. So at least you've done something.
Yeah. We did have Kenny on board there, but he napped
He napped below and watched Netflix while we
until we blew up.
Until we blew the storm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My strange brain said when you had Kenny on board, it was like I just went to South Park and I'm just going, oh,
It was really good fun.
Cool.
But straight away, obviously you were mates on the dock and everything, forced friendship and all. But straight away you get offshore, and did you click just like that? And you're like, actually, this is going to work, or I need to work on that. I'm not sure about that side.
We're both still
Feel free to open up.
We're still ready to go.
Yeah, we're still here and we're still planning to do it.
That
so
test sail was
it's gone well.
Good
so
answer.
far.
Yeah.
Look, it is an experience, and that's what it's about.
You can ask us again when we're around Ireland if we're still friends.
Yeah.
All right, we'll ask you when you're when
you're on the phone to us.
When you're off Muff.
Oh, you had to do it. Oh, dear.
But I think well, for me anyway, it was like, as I was saying, again, coming back to why I think that double-handed is and the Olympics thing is just a really nice opener for girls and avenue for sailors. Like for me, it was really clear as soon as I was sailing with Kat that she knows how to do. She can run the bow, she can run the trim, she can drive, she knows how to work a drina. She's got everything covered, and that's the really cool thing about sailing these short-handed boats is I would say there's a lot of offshore sailing I've done on fully crewed boat where not everyone on the boat can do every single role on the boat.
There's no hiding.
Yeah.
Sailing.
Whereas for me, definitely it's clear the Cat can do everything, and that's kind of what you need. And that's the really cool thing about it. You're like, oh wow, we're actually sailing with sailors who know the front to the back of the boat, and that's pretty cool. And you learn a lot from each other in that as well, I think. Yeah. I think as well we don't have a big ego. No.
which can happen on fully crew boats. We've both had experiences of that.
We have a lot of conversations about stuff. We're like, what do you think?
We have no problem checking each other, I think.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, what do you do here? And like, what about that? And
okay.
I think that's a good.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more
It's actually
fun.
a very important point. What a lot of people who have not done a lot of short-handed sailing, think, oh, it's okay, I'm going offshore double-handed, I'll be right. But it's in actual fact, you're going offshore, and you're at the offside is generally asleep. You generally don't see each other, so you do have to have trust. You do have to have faith, and you do have to have that knowing that the person that is sailing the boat while you're resting is going to do what is required. That is a really important point with short-handed sailing. And I think that's what everyone's going to be learning over the next few years as the short-handed sailing scene takes off, particularly here in Australia. I don't know if you realise, but it's short-handed sailing, is really starting to launch everywhere in the world, and that's one of the biggest things they're going to learn is that.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and I just think it's going to do loads for. I think the amount of girls coming up and just being really good and learning all the stuff earlier on, as opposed to like later in your sailing career when you finally get a chance to get on the helm or something like that.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be really awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a good chance for whether if you're a guy or a girl to have a chance to get into every role. If you're in a crewed boat, the
default.
You tend to start off on the bow or the mid bow and gradually work back. Whereas here you've got to learn everything, and you get so many miles driving, and you get experience doing the nav, and you're the only person trimming. There's I think you pick up the skills way quicker. Even if you want to do crewed racing, I think spending a bit of time doing short-handed stuff is so valuable. So valuable.
I've even learned so much just from starting doing short-handed this year, and even just like a few little deliveries up and down the French coast and the Figaro on my own. Like, you're just on your own, you got to do everything, and it just pulls everything together so much. Like, all the bits that you've learned from the different roles and different boats just comes together really nicely when you're short-handed sailing.
It's going to be so strange going back to crewed racing. It's so busy and so many.
What does everyone do?
People.
BP spent all day designing and the layout for his X2 today, just to make it easy for when you're doing everything in one go. That's what you spent that's why I look so tired right now, isn't it, BP?
Oh, anyway.
The new X2.
Well, it's a pity not a year down the track, because you could have one of those.
Go for a blast on one of those. Have you seen his boat?
No.
Oh,
there you go.
Far
in 1 year's time.
Far X2.
Far X2. Googling
in 1 year's time, hit us up, and BP's going to give you an X2.
Yeah.
I'll give you one.
Okay, well,
we can come out to Australia to visit
come and
you guys.
do a nice little test sail for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
So this is
www.farx2.com.
That's all BP's work. He's putting the whole program together.
Maybe we'll do the 2023 round Australia rather than round Ireland.
There you go.
Or we can try and beat our current record and see if the X2 is happening.
Well, there is a bit of secret pro news that's just come out.
Okay, we'll come on to that in a sec.
But anyway, let's keep.
We'll come on to that in a sec.
Not about us. Not about us.
All right. Well, I think we've kind of come to the natural conclusion, and our time is running out. Do you boys, anyone want to ask anything else? But Bicey, do you have any of your sort of 4 questions with Bicey?
4 questions with Bicey.
No, I'm going to save the 4 questions with Bicey to the round during the actual event.
Yep. Okay.
To tell you the truth, I did have a few here, but they're going to sit to the side until the actual voyage. So I don't have any more questions apart from a few comments of one. You've got a great team, obviously, not only you two, but the people behind you and Magenta Project. And we look forward to speaking during the voyage. And good luck. Luck of the Irish.
Luck of the Irish.
Hopefully.
Cool. All right, ladies. So just remind us if we're going to follow. So we're thinking end of the week. So this will go out Sunday morning in Ireland time. So the end of the week, it'll be around the 14th or something like that of October, middle of October, basically. How can we follow?
So cool. We're running with the hashtag Iarracht Maigeanta, which I won't run through the spelling now, but so that will get everything. And then
it'll be on our website if people want to see how it's spelled. So that's cool. Keep going.
And then our main social media page is Kenya's an I sailing team, because that's kind of where this all came from. So that's RL Sailing. So on Instagram, it's at RL Sailing, and on Facebook, it's at RL Sailing Team. And then that's also the Magenta Project will be sharing all our stuff as well. So if you follow the Magenta Project, you'll be able to get it through there. And then both our personal accounts, which is I'm at Pammy Be Free or Pamela Lee on Facebook.
And I'm at Cat is Bell Hunt.
Okay.
Yeah. And as I said, we're gonna have the tracker on, so we'll share the link from that and everything.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll be sure to share that as well.
I think that's what we'll do. We'll whack that up and we'll do the full intro when you get cracking and put the tracker up on our feeds.
Cool.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool. Well, it's not goodbye. It's speak to you soon, I think, is what we're about to say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And be safe.
Thanks a million.
Thank you so
Thanks so much for chatting.
Good on you guys. Good luck, and don't forget to have some fun while you're out there, eh?
I think we will.
Yeah, I reckon you will.
As long as the tin whistle's on
stop
board.
having fun and do some sailing at some point.
You'll be right. Good on you. Cheers.
Well, that was a bit of a crack, wasn't it, lads?
Bit of crack.
Eh?
Yep.
And I've been told it's CRAIC.
Correct.
Yes, that's right,
Correct.
BP. Did you?
I got that the last time we were talking to our Irish guests. I wonder how we're going to go with the comedy positioning.
I don't know. We can go any higher, BP.
146.
Oh, okay. We can go higher. Although it's the Irish, they don't count like normal people.
Could be. You could reckon that's like our equivalent number one.
No, 641st.
Oh,
Pretty big undertaking.
Yeah.
I mean, if the weather's not going to play mates with you, but nonetheless, yeah.
You know what?
I think,
you gotta put yourself in these positions. If that's what they want to do, you can't sit around and go, "Oh, the weather's not so good, we're not going to go," because you know what's going to happen. You're never going to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But, I mean, they're both determined young lasses. That's what I guess that was my interest for getting these two ladies on. One, because of what they're going to do, have a go, try and set a record, which is cool. But the real interest for me was the pathway, because I think that for people to hear that, and they're just determined, they've given it a red hot go. And I know a bunch of people that'll be listening to the show will be just going, "Oh, yeah, that was cool." So,
I mean, in reality, whilst that would be inspiring to young female sailors, I'd imagine it's a common. Should be inspiring to all young sailors in itself.
Right. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
What I took away from it is essentially you've got to be on the dock. No one's going to come knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You need to be on the dock and you need to make it happen for yourselves. And that's, how we've seen people, regardless of
careers grow,
regardless of male or female, their careers grow. So, yeah.
But I think the other thing is, we mentioned a few times, is, you can't just expect, even if you're on the dock, you can't just expect to be picked up and go sailing and be a professional sailor and be on board because you sail boats. One of the good things that came out of that is the credentials. They've gone out, they've got their, their yacht masters, they got that, they got this, they got that, and then, got sail making capabilities. They've obviously going to have an understanding of engineering. They're going to have, and that's what we're talking about from day one when we had, how do I get into a Volvo question?
Yeah.
It's based on have a little bit of knowledge.
Yep.
And maybe a quick little shout out to Marcus Hutchinson there. He's got his finger in a few things and some good campaigns. And yeah, inspiring. Well done.
Cool. All right. BP, you alluded to there was some secret pro news while we were doing that little interview.
Yes.
What do you got going on, bud? What do you got going on?
There's quite a few things. I mean, I mentioned one a couple of weeks ago, but we'll talk about that later on. But this one is particularly good. And it's actually got to do a little bit with tonight's episode, which, believe it or not, is coincidental because I, as usual, don't know what's going on with the show.
We send you information.
Notes, read the notes.
Yeah, well, anyway, no, I'm only joking. But more importantly, there is a real push right now, as we speak, globally for offshore sailing academies. And it's exciting. The news is that there is going to be potentially going to be some offshore sailing academies popping up all around the world that are going to all be linked together and that are going to enable people to go from one place to another and do some sailing. So stand by for that one.
Bossy, did you lend your hard drive to someone or did I? That sounds like somebody's got into our bloody
That really
file.
shits me.
It does.
Well, is there something you're not telling me again?
No.
We only announced that about 5 years ago.
Yeah, we created a whole
set
plan.
it up basically on the path of the ocean race.
Yeah.
With the Volvo Ocean 65s and create the pathway and the trades and the link each city with each boat. Thanks very much. Who's the bloody sponsor? Tell me now.
farx2.com.
Oh, cool. Good on you. So you stole our bloody idea.
Well, I'm dropping bombshells on you.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Hey, no, this is to be honest, this is more based around the sort of shorthanded stuff, and obviously with the tonight's episode, for example, is people are looking at this as the way forward. They see this as an opportunity to go offshore sailing. Not everyone can get on a Volvo and go around the world in a yacht race.
Yeah,
we know that, and the opportunities are there for people to do it shorthanded under their own steam.
Yeah, well, our academy had 2 shorthanded boats, 2 small sort of like Figaro style boats, so X2 style boats, and then the 65. And it was just the whole idea was to create
a pathway.
A pathway, yeah, to go from get offshore, then to get onto the 65, and then you're out there as a full pro. You've done the full development, and it also had a technical pathway academy as well built in. So if you want to get there on the trade side, it was all. But good on you, BP. Like you're a thinker, mate. You're doing great. So good on you, bud.
Who rang that one in?
I can't tell you that. That's the secret pro.
Oh dear. All right. Other news. I just noticed the Goodall Designs team. So that's Greg and Brett Goodall, who are Australian names in the catamaran sailing world. They've got a new F18 design coming out, and they're having a bit of a competition where you can actually name this model, because I think their current model is the C2 or something, not the X2 BP, but the C2, I think. And you've got to get your entries in before the 17th of October. So if you're interested in coming up with a cool name for a cool cat,
I've got something for you. I'm going to drop this
Felix? On you. Yeah, go on.
No. How about we create a movement?
Okay.
We lend out the name Bar Karate to anyone who wants to use it for their boat name.
What, as in the design?
Or the name
of their boat.
Right. Oh, okay.
See how many Bar Karates we can get out there.
The BK42.
You have to register with us.
Oh, okay.
First. All right, you're Bar Karate 1. I've already got one from Malang last week.
I must admit I have raced a boat in a regatta. Actually I did. Raced a boat in a regatta a little while ago, and I called it Bar Karate. So
yeah, exactly.
So that's
and
number
then
1.
See how many we can get up to.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheers at barkarate.com.
Yep. Yeah. Just send us a note. Yeah. You can name it.
You can use the name. We might even send you a merchandise pack.
And a stubby cooler. That'll come separate.
Oh my God, the idiots I work with. All right.
I'm sorry, Moon.
Don't remind me. Yeah, Moon, don't remind me.
Any sailing happening, guys?
Oh, geez, sorry. What are we talking about?
Massive amounts of sailing.
Well, second Sunday of October, so that can only mean one thing.
Barcelona.
Barcelona is due, the world's largest race. So I think last year was 2,687 boats or something, 16,000 sailors. I can't imagine.
It's a massive regatta. been lucky enough to do it once before, and we had a full training program going into it. And I've like, oh, yeah, cool. We're doing this. We're doing a week of training. And then you find out it's a little 30-mile. No, not even. How far is it again?
Not far.
It's only very short, but it's in bad air the whole way.
In bad air the whole way. Everybody starts together. It's just a carnage fest.
It is so cool, though. It is so cool. They do it pretty well, the Italians. So there won't be a whole deal of social distancing there. We'll
see.
Imagine.
We'll see. I don't know how that's going to work.
Just the boats alone, social distancing is like...
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that's still going ahead apparently. I just thought that... And the Middle Sea race should be due to go pretty shortly as well. So there is some sailing going on, although things are looking bad in Europe again. Second wave is just starting to rifle through there. Not too bad down here, down in Australia and down in New Zealand. Things are pretty glamour, to tell the honest truth. We still have closed borders in Australia. So what has been happening is I've noticed a lot of online boat shows. Have you guys noticed this?
I have noticed them, and from both sides. One, of course, the interest in the sailing side and all the research that we do for Barcarati and stuff. And then also from the USAFE point of view and just seeing what's happening. And I happened to get a snippet of Gianni Caraboni giving a presentation during the Salone de Nautica in Genoa.
We were there last year.
We were there last year. But this year he was doing it. As for, unless you're in for buying a rib with about 350 horsepower on the back. And wandering around with 9,000 people every square foot. It's so crowded. That was just so crowded.
Yeah. Do you think 450 horsepower engines will go okay on the Barcarati barge in New Zealand?
Oh, I don't think our barge will move, BP.
They're all on different sides of the barge, though.
Just spinning around in circles.
Who needs an anchor? All the engines
that would be survival of the toughest. So have 4 engines, so it just spins faster and faster, and we have a pole in the middle, and just a grip strength test. Whoever flies off last is the winner, and you get a beer. And you can imagine like the race going on, the America's Cup boats racing around, and there's this barge just doing spins in the middle, and everyone's focused on that rather than the racing. That'd be hilarious.
Barcarati boys just running amok in the middle.
Would still be able to hear you though.
What do you mean?
You're a professional.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Sailing Champions League. So that the event run by a bloke by the name of Mark Turnbull, who's an Olympic gold medalist from Australia, and a nice bloke. They've just announced a bit of a change of their format structure. So in the past they did male, female and youth. Now they're going to change it to just 2 classes. So that's open and youth. And
50-50.
Yeah.
Crow.
Yeah. Yep. In line with what World Sailing is pushing towards. So maximum of 4 people on the boat. So it's gender parity, which is great for the sport. Really good. The more females in the sport, the better, I reckon. So the circuit they've announced is based in Australia. They're calling it there's 2 qualifying regattas, the Southern and the Northern in 21. So they haven't actually finalised the dates yet, but the finals week will be in April 21, mid-April in Sydney Harbour, which falls on one of your ideas we've had, BP. And then I think they have the lead-up. One of the lead-up heats will be in Geelong at the Festival of Sails, and then there'll be another one in and around Sydney, I guess, in March, something like that. So
what are we into?
Because which one of you blokes are going to be the female?
Bag's not me.
Well, looks like it's me.
Again.
Bombshells dropped again.
You idiot. That's hilarious.
We need a bit more gender diversity over here, lads.
Maybe we need to change one of us at least. Actually, we're pretty good with we don't actually care. We just whoever the guest is, we don't care at all. We want to see more women in sailing, so love it.
Yeah,
love it. All right, boys. Cool. I think that could be us. I can see BP is about to fall over. He has had a tough day, and he looks like he's about to fall over. But that was a fun session.
Little mini regatta tomorrow in Sydney, so it doesn't stop there.
Yeah. Oh, BP, you're a slave.
Too much going on. Slave to sailing. Slave to sailing.
Yeah. BP's a slave. Bicey's a slave to his defender, and I just sort of
just pushing it around.
And
it's always broken down. Oh, I've got some defender news, but we'll save that.
Okay.
Hey guys, good to catch up. Great show. Good luck.
Cheers, gents.
Good luck.
Love your work.
Yeah.
See you, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Cheers. Bye.
My way.